You've heard it before. She said she just felt the ick. And you stood there, confused, questioning everything. You replayed every conversation, every moment, every word, trying to figure out what you did wrong. But here's the brutal truth. You didn't do anything wrong. You simply stopped being what her emotions imagined you to be. The ick is not about smell, looks, or small mistakes. It's a psychological shift that happens the moment she realizes you're no longer the man she felt she couldn't control. See, attraction for women isn't built on logic. It's emotional chaos in a pretty disguise. She wants to feel tension, uncertainty, a man she can't fully read or predict. But the moment she figures you out, when she knows exactly how you'll react, when you start trying to please her instead of leading her, that's when her emotions flatline. That's the ick. It's not disgust, it's emotional boredom. It's the mind saying, I've seen this movie before. And then here's the kicker. Most men try to fix it by doing more. They double text, they explain, they overthink. But that's like throwing water on a drowning flame. In this video, I'm going to break down exactly why the ick happens. Not from what women say, but from how they feel. You'll understand how a woman's psychology works when attraction flips, and more importantly, how to make sure it never flips on you again. Most men think the ick comes out of nowhere. That one day she's warm, affectionate, texting you every morning, and the next she's distant, cold, and irritated by the same things she once found charming. But it never just happens. It builds up quietly, in the moments you stop noticing. Every woman feels two forces when she's with a man, comfort and chaos. She needs both. Comfort is safety, reliability, emotional connection. Chaos is uncertainty, excitement, the feeling of being drawn toward something she doesn't completely control. The problem is, most men kill the chaos too soon. They think that to keep her, they need to give her peace, comfort, and validation. So they start doing everything right. They text more. They become more available. They tell her how much they care, how they'd never leave, how they'll always be there. It sounds noble, right? But in her emotional system, that's not attraction, that's security. And security, when overworked, turns into predictability. Predictability kills polarity, and when polarity dies, the ick begins. She starts to feel it in tiny moments first, subtle irritations. The way you text too fast. The way you look for her approval before deciding something. The way you stop challenging her ideas because you don't want conflict. Those are all micro signals that tell her subconscious mind is no longer leading. I am. And the feminine energy, by nature, does not desire what it has to lead. It desires to be led, not controlled, but guided. To feel the strength of direction. To feel your conviction even when she tests it. That's what makes her respect you. And that respect is the foundation of attraction. When that foundation cracks, her emotions start rewriting your identity. You go from mystery to routine, from power to permission, from desire to duty. She might not even understand why she's feeling this way. She'll just wake up one morning, look at your message, and feel an unexplainable heaviness, that cold inner whisper that says, I don't want this anymore. That's the ick. But the truth is, the ick isn't about you being wrong for her. It's about her brain protecting her from emotional boredom. Because to a woman's emotional system, boredom feels like death. It's not pain that repels her, it's stagnation. She can handle chaos, she can handle arguments, she can handle a man who challenges her, but she cannot handle stillness in attraction. And here's the part most men don't want to hear. The ick usually comes right after you think things are finally stable. Because in your mind, stability means success, but in her emotional world, stability means the end of polarity. When a man relaxes, stops chasing purpose, stops improving, stops being slightly unpredictable, he becomes emotionally transparent. She can read him too easily. She knows exactly how he'll react. She knows what he'll say. And the moment a woman predicts you, she disconnects from you. That's why the ick is not logical, it's biological. It's her nervous system responding to the loss of tension. Her instincts are screaming, there's no more challenge here, no more spark. Move on. Now listen carefully, because this is where most men self-destruct. When she starts pulling away, they chase harder. They double down on validation. They try to prove their worth with more kindness, more reassurance, more effort. They think they can talk her out of an emotion. She doesn't understand herself, but you can't argue with a feeling. You can only trigger a new one. That's why when she says, "I don't know, I just feel the ick," it's not an invitation to convince her. It's a test of whether you still believe in your value without her approval. Because the ick doesn't mean she stopped loving you. It means she's questioning your polarity, your strength, your direction, your self-control. And if you start bending yourself to fix her emotional dip, you confirm her suspicion that you've lost it. Here's the brutal truth. A man's attractiveness is directly tied to how centered he stays when everything else becomes emotional chaos. If you can't hold your frame when she's drifting away, you'll lose her even faster. But if you stay composed, detached, living by your code, she'll feel that magnetic tension again, because you've reminded her why she fell for you in the first place. Not your words, not your looks, but your unshakable energy. You can't stop a woman from feeling the ick, but you can make sure it doesn't end you. Because a man who understands what causes it understands how to rebuild attraction from silence. Every woman has an emotional algorithm, a subconscious code that runs in the background of her attraction system. Most men never learn it. They just keep pressing the same emotional buttons: attention, affection, reassurance, wondering why they suddenly stop working. But her mind isn't a switchboard. It's a feedback loop. And when that loop stops receiving emotional tension, it starts searching for a new stimulus. That's the silent beginning of the flip, the shift from attraction to repulsion. Let's decode it. Phase 1. The spark. At first, it's all about polarity. She feels drawn to your mystery, your rhythm, your unpredictability. She doesn't know exactly what you're thinking, and that unknown triggers dopamine. Her brain reads uncertainty as potential reward. That's what makes her check your messages, replay your conversations, imagine where things could go. In this phase, you are the adventure. You're the story she's writing in her mind. You are both excitement and danger, emotionally, psychologically, even spiritually. She doesn't want to own you yet, she wants to earn you. And in that pursuit, attraction grows wild and irrational. But here's the paradox. Most men get addicted to being desired, so they start trying to secure it. They try to protect the spark by controlling it. They text more, explain more, commit faster, reassure her more. That's when the dopamine curve starts to drop. Because once she knows exactly where she stands, her nervous system no longer feels the chase, the chemical reward that her brain was addicted to. That rush of anticipation disappears. Now her system starts craving new tension. And if you don't provide it, her mind will subconsciously start building resistance toward you. Phase 2. The mirror. Once the spark fades, the algorithm flips into evaluation mode. Now she starts seeing you clearly. The fantasy dissolves, and she starts comparing who you are, not who she imagined, against the story she built in her head. Every time you do something that doesn't match that fantasy, it creates emotional friction. That friction, if handled with strength, deepens attraction. But if handled with weakness, if you start explaining, apologizing, justifying, it accelerates the flip. Because when she sees that you're willing to bend your truth to keep her comfortable, she stops respecting you. And a woman cannot be attracted to a man she doesn't respect. She'll test you more, disagree more, pull away slightly to measure your reaction. And every time you respond emotionally, she feels less polarity. To her subconscious, it looks like this: Hez emotionally predictable. I've mapped his behavior. I know how he'll respond. There's no challenge left. That's when the ick begins forming. Tiny, invisible data points building in her emotional database, each one saying, "He's no longer the man who leads me. He's the man who follows me." Phase 3. The drop. This is when attraction quietly collapses. She doesn't hate you, not yet, but her body begins to reject what her mind once adored. You'll notice subtle signs. She doesn't laugh at your jokes. Your touch feels different. She delays replies or stops initiating. That's her nervous system detaching. And the biggest mistake you can make here is chasing her emotional withdrawal with logic. You can't argue her back into attraction, because her attraction didn't die logically. It died chemically. The chemicals that made her crave you have now flipped to aversion. The same dopamine spikes that once made her feel alive around you are now triggered by distance, by curiosity, by wondering what happened to the man she first met. The ick is not about disgust. It's about loss of polarity. It's not that she doesn't like you. It's that she no longer feels you. Phase 4. The rewrite. Now her mind starts rewriting history. This is the most dangerous part. She'll start recalling every small irritation, every boring moment, every weak reaction, and her brain will begin building a new narrative to justify her emotional disconnection. I guess I never liked him that much. He was too nice. Something just felt off. Those aren't thoughts. Those are emotional justifications. Her mind is trying to make sense of a biological flip she didn't consciously control. And once the rewrite completes, the attraction is gone. Not because she wanted it gone, but because her nervous system made that decision for her. You can't reason her back. You can only reset the polarity, reversing the algorithm. So how does a man reverse the emotional algorithm? It's not by chasing, explaining, or begging. It's by reactivating the 3 elements that built attraction in the first place. Mystery. She must not know what's next. Predictability kills curiosity. You don't need to play games, but you must reintroduce uncertainty. Change your rhythm. Be less available. Move with purpose. Challenge. She must feel that you're emotionally grounded in your own world. Don't seek her energy. Invite her into yours. Stop reacting to her withdrawals. Stay in motion, stay building, stay detached from outcome. Direction. Nothing revives attraction like a man who walks with conviction. When your purpose, goals, and standards are visible, not spoken but lived, she feels polarity again. Because now you've restored the masculine principle, certainty without neediness. Once those elements return, her nervous system starts recalibrating. It starts remembering the tension, the curiosity, the spark, and the same mind that rewrote your story into rejection will begin rewriting it again, this time into curiosity. The core truth, attraction is not lost through rejection. It's lost through emotional predictability, and a man becomes predictable the moment he trades his mission for her comfort. When he stops being the mountain and becomes the meadow, soft, reachable, easy to understand. She stops climbing, because there's no summit left to conquer. The ick is just her emotional compass recalibrating, pointing her toward new tension. Your job is not to follow her compass. Your job is to rebuild yours. Because when a man walks his own direction again, without explaining, without chasing, without bitterness, the world, and sometimes even she, feels that gravitational pull again. Because true attraction doesn't live in the words you say. It lives in the energy you hold when you say nothing at all. When she starts pulling away, most men crumble. They panic. They text more, call more, and chase harder, trying to bring back the woman who's already halfway out emotionally. But attraction doesn't respond to panic. It responds to presence. And presence only comes from a man grounded in his frame. So what exactly is the masculine frame? It's not arrogance. It's not dominance. It's the emotional stability that says, I'm good no matter what happens here. When a woman tests you, ignores you, or throws emotional chaos your way, she's not always trying to hurt you. She's trying to see if your emotional core is real, if your confidence was built on her approval, or on something deeper. Because a man who loses control when she pulls away was never in control to begin with. The nature of tests, when attraction starts fading, she'll unconsciously create situations that expose your emotional state. She'll delay replies, act cold, mention other men, go silent for days. It's not always manipulation. It's emotional data collection. She's subconsciously asking, can he hold his ground when things aren't going his way? And most men fail. They start negotiating, pleading, or guilt-tripping. They try to prove their worth instead of standing on it. But here's the rule: the more you try to convince her, the more she feels she has control. And the moment she feels she controls you emotionally, attraction dies instantly. Holding frame doesn't mean being cold or emotionless. It means you stay calm through emotion. You don't run from it, you lead it. She pulls away. You don't chase, she tests you. You don't react. You stay busy, grounded, focused, because your attention is your power. The man who gives his attention recklessly gives away his leverage, but the man who guards it with purpose becomes magnetic. The truth is simple. A woman can only emotionally dominate a man who depends on her validation. Once you detach from needing her to feel enough, you become untouchable. And here's the paradox. When she feels she can't shake your emotions, that's when she starts feeling yours again. Energy never lies. You can't fake frame. You can't pretend confidence when your body language, tone, and eyes all scream fear of loss. Energy doesn't lie, and women feel it long before they can explain it. If your life has no direction, no purpose, no momentum, she feels it. She won't say it out loud, but deep down she'll start losing respect. Because the masculine's role is not to be perfect, it's to be progressing. So, when she pulls away, don't ask, what's wrong? Ask, what am I building? Because the moment you redirect your energy from chasing her to chasing your purpose, everything starts shifting. Your voice gets calmer, your posture changes, your aura becomes still, and the same silence that once made her question you now starts to intrigue her again. Remember this, she doesn't want a man who explains his emotions. She wants a man who embodies them. She wants to feel your certainty, not hear about it. That's the masculine frame. So when the ick hits, don't fight it. Stand tall. Keep your rhythm. Stay silent, not as a tactic, but as a truth. Because silence is power when it comes from inner calm, and the man who masters that calm never needs to chase another woman again. Chapter 4. Rebuilding polarity. Becoming the man she feels again. Attraction doesn't vanish, it shifts. And if you understand how polarity works, you can rebuild it even after the ick. Women are emotional mirrors. They don't create attraction. They reflect it. So when her desire fades, the key isn't to fix her emotions. It's to fix the energy she's responding to. Step 1 scene, rediscover the edge. You lost her interest because you lost your edge. That edge isn't attitude. It's alignment. It's the sharpness that comes from having a mission bigger than her. When you're fully invested in your purpose, you naturally radiate confidence, focus, and scarcity. You're not available all the time. Not because you're playing games, but because your time has value. That's what reignites the polarity, because women don't crave men who are available. They crave men who are becoming. Step 20, reset the rhythm. Predictability is poison. You must reset the rhythm of how she experiences you. Stop oversharing. Stop being immediately responsive. Bring back the sense of discovery. Change your patterns. Your tone, your timing, your energy. Don't be the man who's waiting for her text. Be the man who's too deep in his grind to notice. When she senses that shift, her emotional compass starts recalibrating. The curiosity returns, and curiosity is the seed of attraction. Step 3. Lead the energy. Leadership doesn't mean control. It means direction. The reason women follow men with presence is because they provide emotional direction when everything else feels uncertain. So don't mirror her energy. If she's distant, you stay calm. If she's emotional, you stay grounded. If she doubts you, move forward anyway, because when she feels your consistency through her chaos, that's when she remembers why she felt safe with you in the first place. Step 4. Reclaim your silence. Not all silence is weakness. There's a difference between silent fear and silent power. Silent fear is when you go quiet because you don't know what to say. Silent power is when you go quiet because you don't need to say anything. When she feels that difference, when your calm becomes louder than her noise, the emotional polarity resets. She starts to feel drawn back to the mystery again. Because the truth is, she never hated you, she just stopped feeling you. And when you stop chasing, explaining, and overgiving, your energy begins to rise back to where it belongs, in control. The final truth: women don't want to lead, they want to feel led. Not through words or rules, but through energy. The ick disappears the moment your presence reclaims authority. Stop asking how to keep her. Start asking how to keep becoming. Because the man who keeps becoming never has to chase love. Love chases him.